Hello, my name is Arif Irfanullah, and in this brief video I will talk to you about the Level 3 exam. First, however, I want to congratulate you. You have cleared Level 1 and Level 2 and you are now ready to take the Level 3 exam. The fact that you have cleared both Level 1 and Level 2 is a very significant achievement, and let me put this in context. If we say that for every 100 people that start the Level 1 exam, there are some that drop out during the studies, and then there are some that don't show up on exam day. Of those who do show up on exam day, the passing rate is between 40% and 45%. Then many candidates who pass Level 1 sign up for Level 2. Some of them drop out during their studies, others don't show up for the exam. And for those who do show up for the exam, the passing rate for Level 2 is again somewhere in the 40% to 45% range. And the numbers I'm using here are based on historical pass rates over the last 10 years. So my estimate is that for 100 people who start out with Level 1, only about 10 clear Level 2. That is 10%. And you are among those 10%, so you can feel proud of yourself. You deserve a pat on the back, and now you need to get ready for Level 3. With Level 3, the pass rate is 50%. Now this might sound like a large number, but a 50% pass rate means that half the people fail, and you need to be among the people who pass. That will require a lot of hard work, because Level 3 is, in my opinion, more difficult than Level 2, even though the content might seem easier, but the way you are tested is more rigorous, which means that passing the exam is not so easy. However, if you follow my advice and work hard, you will maximize the chances of passing the Level 3 exam, and once you do that, all you need to do is complete your work experience, and then you will get the charter. Now let's talk a little bit about the Level 3 exam format. As with Level 1 and Level 2, we have two sessions. Each session is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and there is an optional break in between. The morning session is called the Structured Response Exam. It's also called the Essay Exam. Here you will be given some information, and then you will have questions, and you will actually need to write your responses. And this is what makes Level 3 very different from earlier levels, because at Level 1 and 2 you only had multiple choice questions. Here you need to write your answers. If there are calculations, you need to show your calculations. So only students who actually understand the material well and can present it well will pass this exam. Most people who fail Level 3 fail because they don't do well on the structured response segment. The afternoon exam is exactly like Level 2. So here you will have case studies followed by multiple choice questions. Most candidates find this relatively easy because they are used to it. With Level 3, the focus is on application. And I'll illustrate that point through this slide, which shows all the Level 3 readings. The first Level 3 reading is the behavioral biases of individuals. And then the very next reading is an application of what we study. So here we look at how behavioral biases can be used in the investment process. Then we move on to capital market expectations. First we look at the framework and macro considerations, and then we look at forecasting asset class returns. So this is an application of what we see in the previous reading. Next, we have an overview of asset allocation, then principles of asset allocation, and then asset allocation with real-world constraints, which is about the application of concepts that we see over here. Study session 4 is about derivatives. We look at options strategies, then we look at swaps, forwards, and futures strategies, and then currency management. And here also we look at different currency management related strategies. Study sessions 5 and 6 are about the application of fixed income strategies. Study sessions 7 and 8 are about the application of equity strategies. And then study session 9 is related to hedge fund strategies and, in general, asset allocation to alternative investments. Study session 10 gives an overview of private wealth management, And then we look at different topics in private wealth management such as taxes, estate planning, and so on. Study session 11 is related to risk management for individuals. Then study session 12 is about portfolio management for institutional investors. So notice that with all these readings, the focus is generally on application. Study session 13 is related to trade strategy and execution. Then we look at portfolio performance evaluation and then investment manager selection. Study session 14 gives a range of case studies, and then study session 15 is about ethics. So 2 readings are the same as what we've seen at earlier levels, and then the next reading is an application of the code and standards. And then the last study session has 2 readings. One reading is related to the Asset Manager Code of Professional Conduct, and the last reading has to do with GIPS. So the reading gives us an overview of the Global Investment Performance Standards. So notice, overall, we don't have that many readings. So when we compare with level 1 and 2, the number of readings is much lower, the number of learning outcomes is much lower, but there is a lot more application of concepts in these readings. We also have fewer practice problems, but these practice problems are more difficult. They involve you writing answers, which takes more time. Also notice that the number of pages of content is also much lower, and that is why I highly recommend that you actually read the level 3 curriculum. Most students find it difficult to go through the entire level 1 or level 2 curriculum, but with level 3, I strongly encourage candidates to actually read the curriculum. Over here, we look at the curriculum distribution by topic. Notice that some topics like quant, financial reporting and analysis, and corporate finance are actually not part of the level 3 curriculum. These are tools that we have studied at level 1 and level 2, and the idea now is to focus on topics that are related to portfolio management. So ethics continues to be extremely important. And then we have economics, equity, fixed income, derivatives, alternative investments, and then direct portfolio management and wealth planning. The biggest chunk of the exam is here in portfolio management and wealth planning. When you sign up for the level 3 exam, here is what you get from CFA Institute. So the major thing that you get is the curriculum. The curriculum has detailed content. The curriculum has examples and practice problems. And as I said before, I would like you to read the curriculum, and you must do the examples and the practice problems in the curriculum. In addition to this material, you will also find practice problems on the CFA Institute website. These practice problems are organized by topic, so you should do those practice problems. And then in the last few months, you will also get mock exams. Once you are done with the entire curriculum, you should work through mock exams, and this is extremely important. Candidates who pass the exam typically do several mock exams as practice. So let's now talk about getting started. I'd encourage you to start your level 3 studies as soon as possible. And the first thing you need to do here is make a high-level plan. Many students ask me about what topic to start with, and I recommend that you start with behavioral finance and then follow the sequence of the curriculum. I would want you to study actively. This means that as you study, you should also work through examples, and then when you are done with the reading, you should do the practice problems. Once you are done with the entire curriculum, there should be a revision phase. I recommend that this revision phase should be somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks. This will help you revise all the material that you studied, and then at the end you should have a final review phase which should be between 2 to 4 weeks. And during this final review phase, you should do as many mock exams as possible. With level 3, a key component is the structured response exam. I mentioned earlier that the first segment, which is the morning segment, is the structured response exam. I would want you to start preparing for this early. So as you go through these readings, there will be some questions that are in multiple choice format, but there will also be some questions where you need to give a response. You need to learn early in your study process how to write structured response answers. And I have separate videos on that, but the key really is to practice. So the earlier you start writing these answers, the better you will be. There are some people who leave this for the end and then they end up faltering because they are not comfortable writing responses. So again, I strongly recommend that you start this activity early in your study process. So that is it for this video. The key advice is to study hard and do lots of practice. I will also have follow-up videos which talk about how IFT can help you pass the level 3 exam.